Still wearing polo shirts to every barbecue and weekend errand? That needs to stop. Here's the hard truth. The traditional pique polo isn't flattering, stylish, or modern. It's the go-to choice for guys who've stopped evolving their wardrobe. And it shows. Today, I'll break down why it's dragging your style down, what you should be wearing instead, and the one exception that still deserves respect. Disagree already? Drop a comment below and fight me. Just keep watching first. The problem with pique. Let's start with what's wrong with the standard polo shirt that's probably hanging in your closet right now. You know the one I'm talking about. That cotton pique fabric with the little honeycomb texture, the ribbed collar that never quite lays flat, the baggy sleeves that make your arms look smaller than they are, the shapeless body that either billows like a sail or clings in all the wrong places. The first issue is the fabric itself. Pique cotton was innovative in the 1920s. It was designed for tennis players who needed something breathable and durable. But a century later, we have far better options. Pique doesn't drape well, it doesn't move with your body. After a few washes, it often loses shape, with collars that curl and plackets that ripple. Then there's the fit. Most pique polos come in what brands call a classic fit, which really means loose enough to hide a belly. The problem? When a shirt's built to hide everything, it hides the good stuff too. Your shoulders, your chest, your shape. Instead of looking sharp, you end up looking wider and softer than you actually are. The sleeves are another disaster zone. They're like little fabric megaphones shouting, "I gave up on arm day." They're typically cut too wide and too long, creating a visual effect that diminishes your arms rather than flattering them. And because pique has that stiff hand feel, they often stick out awkwardly rather than contouring to your biceps. But perhaps the biggest issue is the collar, that ribbed, flimsy collar that never quite lays right. After a few wears and wash, it starts to curl, roll, and wave like a flag of surrender. At that point, it's less casual classic and more dad on vacation in Daytona. And finally, there's the context problem. The pique polo has quietly become the uniform of men who've stopped upgrading. It's what we wear when we want to look fine, without putting in real effort. But here's the thing. Fine never turns heads, never builds confidence, and never gets noticed. Which side are you on? Team timeless polo or team next level style? Tell me in the comments below. The knit polo revolution. Now let's talk about the alternative that's been hiding in plain sight, the knit polo. Unlike its pique cousin, the knit polo is made from finer gauge cotton, sometimes blended with silk or other premium fibers. The result is a garment that drapes like a fine dress shirt, moves with your body, and actually looks better as the day goes on. The visual difference is immediate and dramatic. Where pique looks casual and often cheap, a knit polo reads as refined and intentional. It's the difference between looking like you grabbed whatever was clean and looking like you actually gave a damn about how you present yourself. The collar on a quality knit polo is a game changer. Instead of that flimsy, ribbed disaster, you get a structured, self-fabric collar that holds its shape throughout the day. It sits flat against your neck, creating a clean line that frames your face properly. The sleeves on a well-cut knit polo actually flatter your arms instead of hiding them. They're tailored to follow your natural contours, making your biceps look more defined even if you haven't seen the inside of a gym since Obama's first term. And the body of a knit polo? It skims your torso rather than billowing around it, creating a cleaner silhouette that instantly makes you look more fit and put together. But the most important difference is how a knit polo makes you feel. There's a confidence that comes from wearing something that's clearly a step above what everyone else has on. It's subtle, but people notice, even if they can't quite put their finger on why you look sharper than the other guys in the room. The collar stance debate. The collar roll debate is over. Flat collars won. If yours is rolling up like a teenager's, it's time for an intervention. A proper collar should lie flat against your collarbone, creating a clean line that frames your face. This isn't just aesthetic nitpicking. It's the difference between looking put together and looking like you don't care. Cheap pique polos are the worst offenders here. Their flimsy ribbed collars start curling up after a few washes, creating that dreaded wave effect that instantly cheapens your entire look. A quality knit polo, on the other hand, has a collar with proper structure and weight. It lies flat where it should, without curling or waving. And most importantly, it stays that way all day long. Next time you're wearing a polo, check your collar in the mirror. If it's curling up at the edges, you're broadcasting "I don't care" to everyone you meet. Brand picks that don't suck now. Let's get specific about where to find these superior knit polos, because not all brands are created equal. At the accessible end of the spectrum, Uniqlo's Supima cotton knit polos offer remarkable value at around $30. They're not the most luxurious option, but they deliver a clean silhouette and decent collar structure at a price point anyone can manage. Moving up a tier, Sunspell makes some of the finest knit polos on the market. Their Riviera model, around $135, was literally created for Daniel Craig in Casino Royale. And if it's good enough for James Bond, it's good enough for your weekend plans. The collar stance is perfect, the fabric is substantial without being heavy, and they actually look better with age. For those willing to invest a bit more, John Smedley has been making luxury knitwear in England since 1784. Their Adrian model, around $200, is the gold standard, made from 30-gauge Sea Island cotton with a collar that maintains its perfect flat stance through years of wear. This is the kind of polo that gets noticed by people who understand quality. If you're looking for something with a bit more personality, Orla Bar Brown offers knit polos with distinctive details like contrast tipping and unique textures. Their Jarrett model, around $175, has a slightly more relaxed fit while maintaining that crucial structured collar. And for those who want to explore the highest end of the spectrum, Brunello Cucinelli makes knit polos, starting around $650, that feel like wearing a cloud and drape like liquid. Yes, that's serious money for a polo shirt, but the quality is undeniable. And they'll still look amazing a decade from now when you've gone through dozens of cheaper alternatives. Which one would you actually wear? Uniqlo or James Bond's pick? Comment below the one exception. I promised you one exception to my Pique polos are over rule, and here it is, the Lacoste L 12.12. This is the original polo shirt created by tennis champion René Lacoste in 1933. And unlike most of its imitators, it's actually engineered to perform and endure. The key difference is in the details. The L 12.12 uses a unique petit piqué cotton that's more refined than standard piqué. The collar is constructed with a specific technique that helps it maintain its shape. The mother-of-pearl buttons are secured with a special cross-stitching method that prevents them from falling off. But most importantly, it's cut trim through the body and arms, avoiding the billowy disaster that plagues most piqué polos. It's designed to be worn slightly fitted, as Lacoste himself wore it on the tennis court, not as a shapeless sack. At around $95, it's not cheap, but it's a fair price for the original article that's been refined over nearly a century. If you're going to own one traditional piqué polo, make it this one. How to wear a knit polo. Now that I've hopefully convinced you to upgrade your polo game, let's talk about how to wear these elevated alternatives. First, fit is everything. A knit polo should trim your torso without clinging or billowing. The sleeves should hit mid-bicep and be narrow enough to follow the contour of your arm. The bottom hem should end just below your waistband, not halfway down your thighs like those oversized disasters most guys wear. For a smart casual look that works for dinner out or a client meeting, pair a navy or charcoal knit polo with tailored trousers and loafers. Add an unstructured blazer if the occasion calls for it. This combination looks intentional and sophisticated in a way that a traditional polo never could. For a more casual but still refined weekend look, try a knit polo with well-fitted chinos or dark jeans and clean sneakers or desert boots. The key is keeping everything else in your outfit equally considered. The polo is elevating your look, so don't drag it down with baggy cargo shorts and running shoes. And unlike traditional polos, many knit versions can actually work under a suit for less formal business settings. The cleaner lines and more refined appearance make this combination look intentional rather than like you forgot your dress shirt. The psychological advantage. There's something deeper happening when you upgrade from standard piqué to a quality knit polo, and it goes beyond mere aesthetics. When you wear something that's clearly a step above what's expected, it changes how people perceive you, and more importantly, how you perceive yourself. I've seen this transformation countless times with clients. They start wearing better quality, more thoughtfully designed clothes, and suddenly they're standing straighter, speaking more confidently, commanding more respect in meetings. This isn't just fashion advice, it's about psychological positioning. In a world where most men in their 40s and 50s have resigned themselves to a uniform of mediocrity, choosing something better immediately sets you apart. And here's the thing, people notice quality even when they can't articulate why something looks better. They just register that you look more put together, more intentional, more worthy of respect. Is that worth the extra money and effort? I think you know the answer. The pushback. Now I can already hear the objections forming. But knit polos are too dressy for casual settings. Not true, they're more refined, yes, but that doesn't make them formal. A navy knit polo with jeans is still a casual look. It's just a casual look that says you give a damn about how you present yourself. They're too expensive compared to regular polos. Consider this. How many $30 pique polos have you bought over the years that lost their shape after a few washes? How many have you discarded because the collar went wavy or the color faded unevenly? A $150 knit polo that looks great for years is actually better value than 5 cheap ones that each last a season. They're not as comfortable or practical. Modern knit polos are engineered for comfort. The finer gauge cotton actually breathes better than heavy pique. And while they do require slightly more care, gentle cycle, lay flat to dry, that minimal extra effort pays off in longevity and appearance. The knit polo represents something more than just a different fabric. It represents a choice to elevate your standards, to pay attention to details, to present yourself as the successful, discerning man you've become. So yes, I'm saying the traditional polo shirt, as most men wear it, is over. It's time to evolve. It's time to expect more from your wardrobe and yourself. Still think I'm wrong? Comment Team Pique and tell me why. I dare you.